Uh, Virgo, Virgo. I have been sitting here for nearly half an hour before even pressing record because every time I tune into your energy right now, I start grinning. I mean, truly grinning like a fool who just heard the best piece of gossip the universe has ever whispered. And it is not gossip, Virgo. It is love. It is the sweetest, most unexpected, most secretly building for months kind of love. And it is coming from someone younger. Someone who looks at you like you personally hung every star in their sky. Someone whose hands actually shake when they type your name into their phone. Someone who has been rehearsing a confession in the mirror, in the shower, in their car, at red lights for so long that the words have become a prayer they are terrified to speak out loud. And Virgo, they are finally ready. They are finally going to say it. So if you are sitting there right now thinking your love life is dormant or complicated or stuck replaying old chapters, I need you to put that thought down very gently and back away from it. Because you are about to be so wonderfully, deliciously wrong. But before I tell you who they are, before I describe the exact moment this confession is going to tumble out of them, before I walk you through what your heart is going to do when you hear it, I need you to do something with me. If you feel your stomach doing that little flip right now, if some specific face has already flashed across your mind, if you are suddenly remembering a pair of eyes that always seem to find yours across a room a little too often and hold on a little too long, hit that like button. Subscribe to this space, Virgo, because this is where the universe slides its love letters under your door when you are not looking. And drop a comment with the word butterflies. Not because I need the engagement, but because that is exactly what is happening in your body right now, whether you admit it or not. That fluttering, that strange mix of excitement and terror, that is your intuition saying, yes, I know exactly who this is about. That is your soul recognizing its own reflection in someone else's courage. Okay? Seal that circle. Let us begin. Um, okay. So I am tuning in, and the first thing that hits me is this energy of such tender admiration that it actually makes my chest ache. This person, Virgo, they are not a child. Let us be very clear about that. Spirit is showing me someone who is younger than you, yes, but they are not naive in the way that makes them dangerous to your heart. They are young in the sense that they still believe in things. They still believe that courage should be rewarded. They still believe that when you feel something deeply, you should say it, even if your voice cracks. They still believe in you with a ferocity that has not yet been eroded by the disappointments that made you so careful. And there is something about that, Virgo, something about being witnessed by someone whose heart has not yet learned to calculate the odds before leaping that is going to crack you wide open in the best possible way. I am seeing them so clearly. This is someone who has orbited you for a while. Maybe they are in your extended social circle. Maybe they are connected to your work, your creative scene, your community, or a place you frequent so regularly they have started planning their own schedule around the hope of running into you. Maybe they are the friend of a friend who always seems to end up at the same gatherings. Maybe they are someone you mentor or teach or guide in some capacity, and you have mistaken their attentiveness for mere respect when it has been so much more than that for months. And Virgo, here is what is almost funny about this, what is making me shake my head with affection as I channel this, you have no idea. You genuinely have no idea. You have been so busy being competent, so busy holding your life together with your characteristic grace, so busy assuming that anyone who looks at you with intensity is just admiring your work ethic or your organizational skills, that you have completely missed the way this person's entire body language changes when you walk into a room. Let me describe what Spirit is showing me because I want you to recognize it when I say it. When you are not looking, their eyes soften, not in a creepy way, in a way that reminds me of how people look at the ocean after a long time away from it, like relief and longing mixed together. They find excuses to be near you that seem logical to everyone else but are actually choreography. Oh, Virgo, they have choreography. They have planned their moves more carefully than you plan your grocery list. They have practiced casual sentences in front of mirrors. They have changed their outfit 3 times before events they knew you would attend. They have scrolled through your social media with the devotion of a scholar, not to stalk you, but to memorize the map of what makes you happy. They know your coffee order. They know the way your voice goes quiet when you are moved by something. They know the specific laugh you do when you are genuinely delighted versus when you are just being polite. And they love both, but the real one, the rare one, the one that only comes out when your guard is completely down, that one is their favorite sound in the world. And here is what is driving them to finally speak, Virgo. It is not just the accumulation of feeling, it is a moment of crisis. Something has happened in their life recently, or is about to happen, that has made them acutely aware that time is not infinite. Maybe someone they know got hurt. Maybe they had a health scare. Maybe they watched a relationship crumble because someone waited too long to say what mattered. Maybe they simply reached a saturation point where keeping their heart silent started feeling like a slow death. And in that breaking open place, they made a decision, a terrifying, trembling, middle of the night decision. They decided that they would rather know rejection than live in the purgatory of never knowing. They decided that you are worth the risk of looking foolish. They decided that if they do not say something soon, they are going to lose you to someone else, or to your own isolation, or to the simple passing of time that moves young hearts with particular urgency. I am seeing the confession itself, Virgo, and I need you to understand that it is not going to look like a movie. It is not going to be a grand gesture with roses and a string quartet. That is not this person's energy. They are too sincere for performance. They are too scared to be theatrical. What Spirit is showing me is something much more vulnerable and therefore much more powerful. It happens in a private moment, maybe after a conversation where you helped them with something, or gave them advice, or simply listened to them in a way that made them feel seen for the first time in their life. Maybe it is in a car, maybe it is at the end of a walk, maybe it is in a kitchen at a party where everyone else has drifted into another room. The space gets quiet, too quiet, and you will feel the shift before you understand it. You will feel the air thicken with something that is not awkwardness but anticipation. And they will look at you, and their face will do this thing where they try to smile but their mouth forgets how, and they will say your name. Just your name, like it is the only word they know. And then the words will come out in a rush, or in stutters or in a voice so soft you have to lean in, but the essence will be this: I have been trying to tell you for so long. I have been trying to find a version of myself brave enough to match how I feel. And I know I am younger. I know the timing might be wrong. I know you probably did not expect this. But I need you to know that when I look at you, I see home. I see the person I want to grow toward, not the person I want to outgrow. And I cannot keep this inside anymore. Virgo, when this happens, you are going to freeze. I need to prepare you for that because your mind is going to go into overdrive immediately. You are going to think about the age gap first. You are going to calculate it. You are going to think about where you are in your life versus where they are. You are going to think about what your friends will say, what your family will think, whether this makes you foolish or predatory or desperate. You are going to look for the catch. You are going to try to talk them out of it in real time, listing all the reasons it is impractical, all the ways it could fail, all the maturity gaps that might show up later. And that is your defense mechanism, Virgo. That is your beautiful, broken, protective brain trying to shield you from the risk of being loved openly by someone who has not yet learned to hide their heart. But I need you to take a breath and let me tell you what the universe sees. The universe does not check ID at the door of the heart. The universe measures connection in resonance, not in years. And what Spirit is showing me so clearly is that this person, despite their fewer years, carries an old soul. They carry a depth that people their own age cannot meet. They have been lonely in their generation, Virgo. They have been looking for someone who understands responsibility, who understands devotion, who does not play games or keep score. And in you, they found the first person whose energy feels like safety without boredom, like challenge without cruelty. They are not looking for a parent. They are not looking for a project. They are looking for a partner, and their youth is not a deficit. It is a gift they are offering you. It is the gift of reminding you how to play, how to be surprised, how to wake up on a Tuesday and feel excited about the day instead of just prepared for it. Let me tell you about the specific energy they bring because this is where it gets really beautiful. This younger person, they see you in a way that no one in your peer group currently does. Your peers, the people your age or older, they have all accumulated their own baggage. They have their own scars, their own calculations, their own lists of what love should look like based on what failed before. And when they look at you, they see a potential transaction. They see someone to negotiate with. They see someone whose flaws need to be managed and whose boundaries need to be navigated around. But this younger person, Virgo, they look at you and they just see you. They see the way you tuck your hair behind your ear when you are concentrating. They see the way you always make sure everyone else has what they need before you take anything for yourself. They see the exhaustion you try to hide, and they want to be the place where you finally set it down. Their admiration is not complicated yet. It has not been poisoned by cynicism. And in a world that has made you so careful, so guarded, so convinced that love must always be a battlefield, their uncomplicated adoration is going to feel like water in a desert. I am also seeing that they have been showing you their love in a language you have been misinterpreting. This is so important, Virgo. They have not been idle. They have been sending you signals for weeks, maybe months, but you have been reading them through the wrong filter. When they ask for your opinion on everything, you thought it was because they needed guidance. It was because your mind is their favorite place to visit. When they remembered tiny details about your life, the name of your childhood pet, the story about your first job, the way you take your tea, you thought it was because they have a good memory. It is because they have been studying you like sacred text. When they get slightly awkward or talk too fast or laugh a little too loud around you, you thought it was social anxiety. It is the electricity of wanting to impress the person who occupies their thoughts 90% of the time. Every time they showed up early, stayed late, found a reason to be in your proximity, you attributed it to circumstance. Virgo, it was never circumstance. It was devotion wearing a disguise so you would not run away. And now that the confession is coming, you need to understand what they are risking because this is not easy for them. They are terrified. They are terrified that you will look at them with pity. They are terrified that you will say something kind but final, something that puts them firmly back in the box of friend or colleague or mentee or whatever label has kept them close but not close enough. They are terrified that their age will make you dismiss their feelings as a crush, as infatuation, as something they will outgrow next month. And most of all, Virgo, they are terrified that you do not feel even a fraction of what they feel, and that once the words are spoken, the air between you will become so heavy they will have to leave your orbit entirely. They are risking not just rejection, but exile. And the fact that they are willing to risk that, the fact that they would rather be banished than remain silent, that is how you know this is real. That is how you know this is not a game. People do not gamble their hearts that way unless the prize is worth more than their pride. So, what happens next? What happens when the words are out there hanging in the air like smoke, and you are standing there with your mind racing and your heart doing something you did not authorize? I am seeing two possible timelines, Virgo, and they both depend on one thing: your willingness to drop the script. The script that says love must look a certain way. The script that says age gaps are always problematic. The script that says you must be the responsible one who shuts down anything that does not fit the 5-year plan. If you respond from that script, if you immediately retreat into logic and logistics and all the very good reasons why this cannot work, you are going to hurt them. Not intentionally, you will be gentle about it. You will probably think you are protecting both of you. But you are going to watch something precious dim behind their eyes, and a part of you, a part you have been ignoring for years, is going to ache with a loss you will not be able to name. But if you respond from your heart, Virgo, if you let yourself feel what you actually feel before your mind builds a case against it, something extraordinary happens. Because here is the secret the universe is pressing into my hands right now. You already love them too. Not in the same way, not with the same frantic, all consuming urgency. Your love is quieter. It is buried under layers of shoulds and shouldn'ts and what ifs, but it is there. It is in the way your mood lifts when they text you. It is in the way you catch yourself looking at them longer than necessary. It is in the way you have already started adjusting your life in tiny ways to accommodate their presence. You have already let them in further than you let most people. You just called it something else. You called it mentorship or friendship or just enjoying their company. But your soul knew. Your soul has known for a while. And the confession is not actually a surprise to your deepest self. It is a relief. It is the moment the hidden thing finally gets to breathe. If you choose to meet them there, Virgo, if you choose to say, I am scared too, and I do not know how this works, but I feel something real and I want to explore it with you, the energy that opens up between you is going to shock you with its healing power. This person is going to teach you how to be adored without having to earn it. They are going to teach you that your worth is not contingent on what you produce, what you fix, or what you manage for other people. They are going to look at you on your worst days when you are messy and tired and sharp edged, and they are still going to choose you with the same devotion. And you, Virgo, you are going to teach them what lasting love looks like. You are going to teach them that love is not just butterflies and confession speeches. It is showing up. It is consistency. It is choosing someone again every morning. You are going to ground their fire, and they are going to reignite your joy. It is a perfect exchange if you let it be. Now, I need to talk about the practicalities because I know you and your brain is already building a spreadsheet of concerns. Let us address them one by one so they cannot haunt you later. First, the age gap. Yes, there are differences in life experience. Yes, there may be cultural references that do not land. Yes, they might not understand some of your references, and you might not understand some of theirs, but those are surface ripples, Virgo. The deep current, the thing that actually determines whether a partnership lasts, is emotional alignment. It is shared values. It is the way you handle conflict, the way you support growth, the way you hold space for each other. And Spirit is showing me that in those deep waters, you two are surprisingly matched. They have an emotional maturity that belies their years, and you have a youthful openness that you have buried but never lost. Together, you meet in the middle at exactly the right frequency. Second, what will people say? Some people will talk. Some people will raise eyebrows. Some people will project their own fears and judgments onto your situation because your courage reminds them of their own cowardice. And you know what? Let them. Your love is not a democracy. You do not need a majority vote to follow your heart. The people who truly love you will adjust. They will see your happiness and they will recalibrate. And the ones who cannot, they were never in your corner to begin with. They were in your gallery, watching your life like entertainment, and their ticket does not grant them editorial power. Third, the fear that you will outgrow them or they will outgrow you. That is a risk in every relationship, Virgo. Age-matched couples grow apart every single day. The variable that keeps people together is not the year they were born. It is the commitment to growing together, to staying curious about each other, to refusing to let the relationship become a relic of who you used to be. If you both agree to keep evolving side by side, the age gap becomes irrelevant within the first 6 months. It becomes a footnote. It becomes the interesting detail you tell at dinner parties years from now when people ask how you met. Fourth, and this is the big one, the fear that you are somehow taking advantage. Virgo, if this person is of age, if they are emotionally autonomous, if they are pursuing you with clarity and consent, then you are not taking advantage. You are being chosen. And being chosen is not a crime. You do not need to shrink yourself or deny your own feelings to prove your morality. The universe does not want you to martyr yourself on the altar of other people's comfort. It wants you to be happy. It wants you to be loved. It wants you to know what it feels like to be someone's first choice, not their backup plan, not their sensible option, but their heart's true north. I am seeing a glimpse of your future together if you say yes, Virgo, and it is so tender I almost cannot speak through it. I see you laughing in a way I have not heard from you in a long time. I see you being ridiculous, being playful, being someone who dances in the kitchen and takes spontaneous road trips and stays up too late talking about nothing and everything. I see them looking at you across a crowded room with that same ocean deep devotion, but now it is mixed with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are yours and you are theirs. I see you teaching each other. I see you surprising each other. I see a love that does not erase the age gap but transcends it. A love that says, yes, we are at different points on the timeline, but we are walking in the same direction, and that is all that has ever mattered. And I see the hard parts too, because I would not be honest if I only painted the rainbow. There will be moments when their inexperience frustrates you, when they do not know how to navigate a conflict with the same tools you have spent decades building, when their youth shows up as impatience or impulsivity or a lack of understanding about the pressures you carry. And there will be moments when your caution feels like a cage to them, when your need for plans and security clashes with their desire for adventure. But those moments, Virgo, they are not signs that it was a mistake. They are invitations to grow. They are the friction that polishes both of you into better versions of yourselves. If you approach them with curiosity instead of judgment, with the question, what is this teaching us, instead of the accusation, you are too young to understand, you will find that the challenges actually deepen your bond rather than fracture it. I also want to speak to the part of you that feels guilty for even feeling attracted to someone younger. I know that guilt is there, Virgo. I can feel it in your energy. You have been taught that desire must always look responsible, that your attraction should be sensible and age appropriate and easily explained to a committee. But your heart is not a committee. Your heart is a wild, ancient, knowing thing that recognizes its match across any distance, any difference, any convention. You are allowed to feel drawn to their energy. You are allowed to be flattered by their admiration. You are allowed to want the specific medicine they bring, which is the medicine of aliveness, of hope, of being seen as magical rather than merely useful. You do not have to apologize for what heals you. So here is what I need you to do, Virgo. And I want you to do it with the same seriousness you give your work, your routines, your responsibilities. I need you to make a decision before the confession arrives, not a decision about whether to say yes or no. That choice belongs to the moment itself, to the alchemy that happens between two people when the truth is finally spoken. But I need you to decide that you will be honest, that you will not hide behind logistics to avoid feeling, that you will not dismiss their courage because it makes your own heart feel exposed. Decide right now that if they stand before you trembling and offer you everything they have, you will meet them with your truth, whatever that truth is. If it is yes, say it without making them beg. If it is maybe, say it without making them wait in purgatory. If it is no, say it with such kindness and such respect for their bravery that they walk away knowing their love was never wasted, only redirected. And tonight, Virgo, when you are alone in the quiet that always comes before the dawn, I want you to do one more thing. I want you to look in the mirror, not to fix your hair, not to check your skin. I want you to look into your own eyes and say, out loud, I am allowed to be chosen for joy. I am allowed to be loved by someone who does not need me to be perfect. I am allowed to feel young at heart again. I am allowed to be surprised. Say it until your voice stops shaking. Say it until you almost believe it. Because tomorrow or next week, or in the exact moment you have stopped bracing for disappointment, those words are going to walk into your life wearing a smile that is terrified and brave and entirely, irrevocably yours. And when they do, when they finally stutter out those beautiful, terrifying, life altering words, I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember that the universe giggled when it told me that love does not check identification at the door. That your heart deserves the kind of adoration that makes you feel brand new, not because you have been fixed, but because you have finally been seen. Go gently, Virgo. Go with your heart unclenched and your defenses lowered just enough to let the light in. Let yourself be the surprise of someone's lifetime, just as they are about to be yours. And when you are ready, when the confession has been spoken and the air has settled, and you find yourself in that new, tender, terrifying space of being chosen, come back here and tell me. Tell me how it felt. Tell me if you cried. Tell me if you laughed. Tell me if your hands shook the way theirs did. Because I will be here, grinning like a fool who already knows the ending, waiting to celebrate with you. Sweet dreams, beautiful soul. The butterflies were never anxiety. They were always love, knocking,